All right, everybody, welcome to the quarterly meeting for Copy That's Financials. We're going to go over what we've made so far this year and also make plans going forward. And as you can see, top line revenue has been actually exceptionally good, coming in at $69,169. And
wait.
Good.
Are you serious?
Yes. We have done 69,169.
All right, okay. All right. He's made this in Canva. It's quite good.
Stop faking it, dude. This is stupid.
That's actually what we've made. We've made $69,000.
Sean, I know we have a reputation for being really immature and making jokes like this, but this is supposed to be a serious meeting.
I am being serious.
You can okay, Sean. Seriously, it's getting a bit annoying. It's getting a bit annoying.
Look at the P&L.
Dude, it's please
the
just
actual number. 69. Twice.
I'll see you guys next quarter, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Have a good one, everyone. See you. Bye. See you, Sean. Grow up a bit. Yeah.
It's 69. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the video where we're going to sort of peel back the curtain and show you the dark, seedy underlayer of Copy That. We're going to explain how much money we make, how we make our money, how this business actually runs, and how you yourself, if you want to sell information or courses or content online, you can actually follow along and follow the steps that we've taken to sort of start your own business, especially a hobby business if you just want to do something fun on the side that generates a little bit of profit. But before we get into all of that, one thing we wanted to do is also talk about the sort of limitations that we put on ourselves to make sure that we were doing everything we were doing in an ethical and honest way.
Rule number one is we don't want to sell to children or to people who don't have money, because that's just not the kind of business that we're going for. We want to help you with free stuff. If you haven't got any money, go and watch that. There's loads of it and it's very valuable. Our courses and the stuff we're selling is more themed towards people who have already got over that first hurdle and have some paying clients. So if you're watching this and you're young or you're in a position where you don't have money to spend right now, I promise you there is plenty of free content that you can go and watch and get a basic foundation to start earning money.
We only want to sell things that genuinely help people. There's a lot of free stuff out there and stuff in books and stuff you can find cheaply that can get you well beyond the point where you would need to be in order to actually make money doing this. Ultimately, we really wanted to look and see what can we share and do that nobody else can share and do. And then we also wanted to make sure that what we sold was a compilation of stuff that you couldn't really get anywhere else, or shared insights that you couldn't really find anywhere else.
This had to be fun. A lot of people have told us, a lot of people will continue to tell us, I'm sure, that we would make way more money and have a much bigger audience if we took this very seriously as a business. But the reason that we can keep doing this is because it's fun for us. This isn't most of our second, third, or even fourth income stream. So it really is more of a fun hobby project for us. And if that means making 4-minute long videos about eternal damnation and what that has to do with your headline complex, we're going to keep doing it.
Here's a common misconception that a lot of people have. When you have a business, it's not you. The moment your brain thinks of a thing called a business, there's this thing called a business, and then there's you. Legally, accounting-wise, money is not supposed to cross between that. You're not supposed to put more money in unless you're recapitalizing it, and money is not supposed to go out unless you're paying yourself a salary or a dividend. When Copy That originally started, it was just a hodgepodge of us doing stuff and sort of collecting money, but we actually had to set up a separate entity with operating agreements and contracts just so that we could get to a point where the business, separate from us, could sell things, collect revenue, and generate, expenses and profits and all that fun stuff. The next thing that we started doing was we started taking individual videos that we release on Patreon and selling them separately on the website, www.copythatshow.com. And we did that for a couple of different reasons. One was because there were people that wanted to see and test or sample what we were making in the Patreon, but didn't want to pay for Patreon. Another reason was people all over the world, some of them just can't access Patreon. We had to give some way for for them to buy the stuff that they wanted. Patreon just doesn't have tax nexus or doesn't accept money from places like India, for example. Another reason why we wanted to release these courses individually on the actual website was because, for copy and marketing reasons. It gave us a way to be like, hey, this course costs 20 bucks here. Why don't you instead spend 20 bucks per month on the Patreon and get 16 times as many of these masterclasses? It just made it a more of a no-brainer offer. The next thing we did was we started putting together courses, and we did that in such a way so that we could help people move through a sequence about a particular topic. The Patreon is just a hodgepodge of hundreds of different posts with hundreds of different videos and streams. Patreon.com/thecopythatshow. There's a lot of stuff. Some people didn't want all that stuff. They just wanted, like, help with outreach or like to learn marketing strategy or things like that. And so Alex, he put together these courses, and then we each individually filmed masterclasses that would adhere to or fulfill the purpose or the goal of those courses. We're trying to build them in such a way that we don't launch them over and over again. Like, if you look at most other copywriting businesses, they just launch course after course after course after course. Like, we're hoping to launch three courses, and that's it. And then just keep improving and relaunching the same ones so that people who bought early get rewarded for having faith in us. And that's part of the balance of like optimizing for money, but also like optimizing for brand and reputation. And we're really trying to optimize for the latter. We're hoping to be the sort of like go-to trustworthy source of this kind of information for people that are like trying to save a little bit of money or not waste money on things that they could get elsewhere for cheaper with our stuff. Another way that we made money was at one point we actually had a mentorship program, but what we realized was it actually cost us more money in time than we made in cash to sell it. It was nice to have a little cash injection for the business, but if you just consider the fact that, like, for example, my consulting fee is $1,000 an hour now, it's just doesn't make sense for us to sell a $300 mentorship because we're going to people that are just new and starting out, and we know that people can learn stuff for free. It just didn't feel fair to charge people what we would need to charge to make it make sense monetarily. When it comes to other income, we also collect money via Amazon royalties because we have a book that's on there. We also sell it directly, and that's also price anchoring. Why spend X number of dollars on Amazon when you can get it for cheaper if you buy it here? We also generate money through ad revenue on YouTube. We could probably get more from ad revenue if we optimized our videos for retention. Almost all the money we make from YouTube ad revenue, I'm making sure it goes almost directly into advertisements to help the channel grow. That is how the business is set up on a financial side. If you want a good takeaway from all of that, really focus on the simplest thing that you can do to accept money. If you wanted to bake cookies and have a cookie baking company, the first thing that you should do is like get a Square account. Just figure out a way to accept people's money with the least amount of effort on your part, because it's the money coming in that's going to ultimately help fund all the other things that you're trying to do.
Why has Copy That been able to grow into what it is today? Because we followed one simple rule: just make something. Copy That actually started like how many businesses started, on accident. We all met because we just happened to be part of the same Discord community focused on copywriting and mutually shared a passion for copywriting. One day, I think it was Sean suggested that, hey, you know, we've all been studying copywriting independently. What if we all hopped on stream together? And here we are 3 years later with over 37,000 YouTube subscribers, sold hundreds of Patreon subscriptions, and we also have a thriving community that we love on Discord. And we've been able to do all of that because at every step of the way, our focus has always been on what can make the business better and what can help us grow our community.
So how did we actually start selling stuff and making money? We started a Patreon, and we set it up in such a way so that people felt like, one, that they were supporting the show, and two, that they were getting way more value than what they were paying in. We did this because it was the simplest, easiest way to start. If you sell things directly, you have to set up tax nexus, you have to set up payroll processors. Patreon handles all of that for us automatically without us having to think. And so that just made it an easy, seamless way to start actually ringing things up on a cash register. Now, another reason why we started with Patreon is because it's already a thing that people on YouTube commonly encounter. There's a sort of frictionlessness there. You're not going to encounter that with other types of sales and other types of platforms. People are less willing to link and go off to other places to buy stuff than Patreon. Whereas with Patreon, people are like, oh yeah, that channel has a Patreon. So that's why we did it.
Now, you may have heard the world of copywriting is oversaturated. There are so many copywriters out there that how could you possibly stand out? Well, the world of copywriting gurus is kind of similar. There are a lot of YouTube channels out there who try and teach this stuff, and we knew we had to differentiate ourselves. One of the easiest ways to get business is to show that you're different from the alternatives. And if you've been watching our stuff for a while, you'll know that we're very, very different from your average hypey guru. A big selling point of Copy That is authenticity. If you look at the comments in our videos, a lot of people consistently tell us, hey, you guys are really real. Like, it's nice that you're not hyping this up. It's nice you're not trying to sell us loads of offers. It's cool. I don't see this anywhere else. That in itself just shows why we've done relatively well, because we're offering something that is different. And if anything sells, it's new and different. So if you do want to start a business, that is something you should definitely consider. How are you going to be different from what's already out there? Sean, you gotta give some context, dude.
Well, you're talking about difference and being unique and stuff like that. The next thing I'm supposed to talk about is the paid growth strategy that I came up with to get us monetized fast. I figure, who better to talk about that than Dr. von Klöimpenstoch?
Oh, no, he's not a recurring character. This is my video.
When Copy That first started, they came to me, Dr. von Klöimpenstoch, for advice about how to become monetized on YouTube. You see, YouTube requires 2 specific criteria in order for monetization to begin. One of them is 1,000 subscribers. The other is 4,000 public watch hours. Now, me, Dr. von Klöimpenstoch, I came up with a brilliant solution to help them get monetized as fast as possible so that the business could become self-sustaining and grow. The first thing that we did was we drove traffic via Google Ads and in-feed ads so that when people were searching for copywriting information, their videos, Copy That's videos, would actually show up when people were interested in these things. That got them to 1,000 subscribers very, very quickly. But here's the thing. These subscribers, they were of low quality. You will generally find this when you use paid advertisements for these sorts of things, that the people that you pay for are ultimately not going to be as qualified as the people that came through organically. So, me, Dr. von Klöimpenstoch, came up with a second plan. The second plan involved getting us to 4,000 public watch hours. But here's the thing, you cannot just advertise videos on YouTube and get there. No, they don't count if they come through via advertising. So, because I am Dr. von Klöimpenstoch, I came up with a plan. We put on copythatshow.com a long guide that had links to various videos that the Copy That people would appreciate more views on, and had a very long time that people would be watching them. What we did was we embedded these videos, and guess what? Then we paid to drive traffic to that particular page. It is still available. It is the Copywriting Quick Start Guide. And if you go through, you will see that all of the biggest, longest videos that we had that provided the most value was there. And that garnered very good quality leads, that garnered quite a few public watch hours, because that one step removal of link via PPC to Quick Start Guide allowed for YouTube to register those public watched hours, and that allowed Copy That to become monetized in just a matter of months, as opposed to normal videos, which require anywhere from 18 to 24 months in order to become monetized. And that strategy is still in place today. Copy That gets many of their leads from ads that go either directly to their videos or that go to the web page that has their videos on them. And if you want to scale a YouTube channel, that is something that I recommend. If you have the money to spend, you can drive traffic to get subscribers and then drive traffic to get watch hours. And that is one way that you can build an audience on the YouTubes.
Thank you so much, Dr. von Klöimpenstoch. Whenever we serve content, we're making sure that we are including links and attaching resources to get to other things we think you might find valuable. For example, if you go in the description of this YouTube video, you'll probably find links to things like our Discord community and our Patreon and other videos we think are going to give you additional value since you've chosen to watch this one. Whenever we give you content, we are also giving you the opportunity to have more of the same thing or more of the same thing at a higher level, because we know that if you like this, you're probably going to like other stuff that we do.
We were going to do a full breakdown of every single line item on our profit and loss of like how much money we make versus how much money we spend, but that was really boring. And so we're going to do it this way instead. This is how much money that we make. Yeah, for real. $69,169. There's two 69s in there. When you're doing accounting stuff, you have to take into consideration how much making that stuff to sell actually costs. What does Copy That sell? It sells information and courses and content. As you can see, our lovely video editor, Noah, has doubled the amount of money that he got from us in a single year, and we're hoping to double it again. Thank you, Noah. You're amazing. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see all the various variable costs. These are the things that actually like lead to the net profit or net loss of a particular business. As you can see, it includes things like ad spend, legal fees, other things like that, that basically it costs to actually run a business. As you can see, it didn't cost very much in 2022, but as the business has grown, a lot of these things have gone up in price. If you tabulate all the revenue and then subtract all of the expenses, what you get is this number here at the bottom, which is our net income. As you can see, in 2022, we operated at a loss. We lost money so that we could actually get you these videos. We are just cool like that. Hey, look at this. We're actually making a profit so far in 2023. You can subtract the losses from last year, and that is going to be our taxable income for 2023. That's the money that we actually have to report to taxing authorities as income that we have each earned as being 1/4 owners of this business. And so if you want to start a business of your own, get used to looking at sheets like this and start tabulating your expenses and organizing your expenses this way, because guess what? It's going to make the process of running your business a lot easier.
What's worked well for Copy That? First off is just posting a ton of content. There's a ton of value out there. Having that available for people to consume means that they like us more, which is great. Second is having a core recurring offer. For us, that's Patreon. We can advertise the Patreon in tons of different ways. Number three, focusing on connecting with a very specific audience. For us, that audience is people who genuinely want to learn copywriting and are less concerned with getting rich quick than they are with developing a real skill set that will allow them to provide value to the world. Because we focused in on that audience, we get to be ourselves. We get to be not scammy, not grifty, not guru-y, and we get to make fun jokes and be real about the information we think you really need to know if you want to get into this profession. One final thing we do really, really well is innovate and iterate on our content. If you've seen some of the very early Copy That videos, looking at them now, they're kind of embarrassing, but over time, we've upped our production quality, we've upped the scripting of our content, and done so many things to make our content not just more valuable, but also easy to consume. The other thing is optimizing the content itself. And so making sure that we have hooks and funny segments at the beginning of our videos and across the course of a given video or guide, do small things within the content to retain viewer interest. Now, just because we've done so many things well, doesn't mean that we've done everything well. So I'm going to kick it over to Alex to talk about that.
Yeah, we've certainly done a bit that in hindsight we probably should have done differently. Number one is we've had a lot of offers that we've just kind of thrown out there without giving much thought to, and that's a bit of a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, at least we're putting stuff out there for people to buy, but on the other hand, it confuses people. We had a Patreon that had 3 different tiers at one point that wasn't entirely clear exactly what people got when they signed up to any of the tiers. We're also throwing out digital masterclass offers. We had a lifetime subscription for a shop. We had the personal mentorship. There was a lot in the Copy That universe, and if someone was interested from buying from us, they didn't necessarily know what to go for first. And then there's the upselling. If you've watched our content for a while, you'll know that we don't shy away from plugging our paid products. Something we've done terribly, however, is make the most out of people when they've bought something from us. That, statistically speaking, is the time that someone is most likely to buy again. So what do? You show them something else to buy immediately afterwards. That could be a web page directly after the checkout. It could even be an email sequence as soon as they've bought. But the point is, you need to catch them when they're in that buying frame of mind, and we just haven't. Like with many of the things we've done wrong, that's mainly been out of a lack of time management. We don't necessarily want to make you pay as much as humanly possible. We want you to get the best value, and if we don't have anything else to sell, then we're not going to sell you anything else. Another thing we've been guilty of, me especially, is promising the ongoing fulfillment of an offer and then not being able to deliver on that. Now, that's not for want of trying, but it's often because life gets in the way. For example, I once said I was going to build an entire store, document the whole thing, and show everyone on the Copy That Patreon. Even though I intend to finish that, other businesses I'm responsible for required my attention, and it meant I couldn't spend as much time as I wanted to doing stuff just for Copy That. So that should highlight the importance of not over-promising and then not having the time to deliver on it. And yet another, and probably the most heinous crime that we committed, is that we had a lack of copy. We're copywriters and we're teaching people how to write copy, yet we had a lack of copy about the things we were trying to sell. Even we see the irony in that one. The fact is, we just didn't put out enough sales letters, VSLs, emails, ads of any kind about our offers, so they didn't reach as many people as they could have. Yes, we did a lot well in acquisition, but also we left a lot wanting. It's something we should do better. And lastly, maybe this isn't something that we did wrong, but it's just a fact of the industry we're in. Info businesses are commodity businesses. That means that you constantly need to come up with new ways of making the offers sound big and exciting, and often that comes in the forms of bigger, more beautiful, more exciting, more sexy, direct promises. And that's not really something that we lean into. We tell you how it is. We say, you know, some things are harder than they look. I can't see that changing anytime in the future. We want to keep this truthful. And to give you a look at the realities that info businesses face, we actually want to show you what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, hello again. We're not going to bring Dr. von Klöimpenstoch to explain this because this is the point where it gets a little nerdy. So nerdy, in fact, that there's no way that we can speedrun this. There's no way we can make it more exciting with a beard and green screen. No, now we get to play with a calculator. This is something that's released in our ultimate guide to marketing strategy, link in the doobly-doo. How does this business actually work? Well, you spend money on ads, people give you money in the form of buying stuff, and then what you're hoping for is that the amount of money that you bring in exceeds the amount of money that you spend on ads. So let's run through a quick model. Let's say you want to spend $10,000 on a monthly ad budget. Let's say it costs you about $80 to get one paid sale. An $80 cost per acquisition. That means that because most people click and then don't buy, it costs you $80 worth of clicks before one person actually buys. So if you work out those numbers with an $80 average cost per acquisition, you're going to get 125 sales. If you have a product, a front-end product that is something to establish a paid relationship with a customer that costs $20, that's going to be 125 people, $2,500 in revenue. Now, keep in mind that you have about a 10% refund rate, so 250 goes out the window. These are approximations. That means that your monthly net sales are about 2,250. And your net cost is 7,750. That means that you are generating a negative 77.5% profit margin. That means that you are hemorrhaging money. I'm going to show you another way to approach this. Let's say we just add a different product on the quote-unquote back end of that sale. That is, people buy your $20 product and then you immediately show them another thing they can buy. $5,000 coaching plan. And let's say just 1% of people buy it. 2 sales per month. You went from hemorrhaging almost $8,000 per month. Now all of a sudden you're making $1,250 per month. 2 people out of the 125 people that buy. All you need to do as a marketer is get 2 people to buy a thing on the back end, and then bingo bango, your business is profitable. This front end, back end strategy has grown so many businesses.
So there you have it. Everything we just said is a relatively decent guide on how to grow an online business. If you're watching this right now, likelihood is you are an aspiring copywriter or marketer and you want to know how you can build your career. How can you learn from what we have painstakingly figured out over the last 3 years of trial and error? I don't know.